Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our coverage of the Champions League quarterfinals. Kate Abdo, Thierry Henry, Jamie Carragher, Micah Richards. Welcome to the roller coaster.
No, seriously, wow. Honestly, that is just sublime. I can't remember a Champions League like this. I know tactically we normally try breaks. It was just goal. I said there was going to be goals before the game, didn't there? It was a goals bonanza. Both games absolutely exceptional. And you always talk about the Champions League, and I was always been a Premier League man, but I think I'm starting to agree with you, Jamie.
You coming along, yeah?
The Champions League is extraordinary.
The best.
Wow.
Jamie, the special night.
It was amazing, and I thought the first set of games that we had last week, I thought it'd be very difficult to top them. But I think certainly we've got tomorrow night as well to come, but what we've actually seen tonight, I mean, it wasn't just about the football, it was this as well, you know, red cards, Xavi getting sent off, penalties. It's still going on now. He's just got to be careful he's not going to get a bigger ban.
Yeah, so these are the scenes in Barcelona. Obviously, PSG gone through there. Xavi had to leave the field side earlier on in the match because he'd been sent off. It's just two such opposing worlds at a moment like this, right, Terry? You've got the elation of PSG and then just the bitter disappointment of a Barcelona who this was what could kind of salvage their season, which has been so tough for them in different ways.
Look, there's something that I want to mention about the Champions League, and we all know it is an outstanding competition. But what it does to you, it makes you nervous. It makes you nervous on the night, and what I saw as well as great football tonight, I saw mistakes. A lot of mistakes. And that happens when you start to be scared. And only when you arrive in the quarterfinal, when you have to decide a tie and you arrive to the semifinal or the final, you cannot predict that Araujo was going to make that mistake. And if you go back to the other game also that we're going to look after, Atletico Madrid versus Dortmund, I saw a lot of mistakes. You have to be good. You can't make mistakes in the Champions League. If you make mistakes, you will pay the price straight away. And that's why it's so hard to win that competition, because you cannot not make one mistake. And Barcelona deserve to go down to 10 men. That penalty was a penalty. That doesn't mean you have to concede goals. The goals that they conceded, and Jamie will show it later on, you didn't concede goals because you were playing with 10 men. It's because you started to panic. You cannot go to any title or be champion when you panic. I don't care who you are. You cannot panic in difficult situations, because it will creep on you, it will creep on the team, it will creep on the stadium. And next thing you know, momentum went to Paris Saint-Germain, like it went to to Borussia Dortmund on the other side, and you find yourself out of the competition.
Does this come as a surprise after they won the first leg in Paris 3-2, Barcelona?
Yeah, and we'll look at it a bit later, Kate. There's a big moment with the red card. It did change the game. I thought Barcelona was in the ascendancy. When that actually happened, you thought, and we expected them probably to go through tonight. But like Thierry said, big moments in games, and it changed. The daft penalty from Cancelo and the red card from Araujo.
Oh, nailed it.
Nailed it?
Oh.
Yes, we got there in the end. But I would just like to mention, and I mentioned him before, I've doubted him once, and never again. And he didn't have his best game today, but he stepped up at the vital moment. Kylian Mbappe scores his penalty. Big games, big names. But as for big names, I thought Dembele was excellent tonight as well, wasn't it, Thierry?
Look, Kylian Mbappe appeared when he had to appear. He had to take that penalty. He scored that last-minute goal that we saw. But for me, Dembele and Barcola were unplayable. And the main man for me, he's been running the show for a very long time for this team now, is Vitinha. Nobody talks about him. He scored in Paris. He scored again tonight. He was everywhere tonight, once again. But yes, tomorrow, Kylian will grab the headlines.
Good.
And rightly so after the treatment that he had.
What score will they give him this time around?
At least 8. At least 8.
I mean, he was 4 out of 10 last week, so you're giving him an 8 now.
I'm giving him an 8. It was double last week, yes.
Do you think the criticism was harsh last week?
Of course it was harsh.
What would you have given?
At least a 6. Because it was they played him well, you know? When you've got that much ability, he was a marked man, but what did I tell you? He'll turn up tonight, and he certainly did, didn't he, Jamie?
Every time we're on this show, to be fair to him, he does tell us the best player in the world will play well.
I really thought you was giving me some credit then. How naive was I?
You know me.
You know, yeah. Wow. Look at the emotion in the crowd, what it means.
Yeah, I mean, if you think back to last year, they went out in the round of 16, PSG, now semi-finalists. For Luis Enrique, obviously we know that for PSG, Champions League is what you live and die by, right? You're expected to win the league. Champions League is the holy grail. We say it every season. How much will this cement Luis Enrique, or does it not matter? Semi-finals isn't enough. You have to go all the way. You have to win the thing.
They've been to the final before. They've been in a situation before where everyone thought they were going to win it. You have to understand something. I don't know if people in the US know that. In France, we only won one time the Champions League, or the name was different before, but only one time it happened, and it was Marseille. And it is the rival of Paris Saint-Germain. So Paris Saint-Germain will always have that on their back. Marseille always say, we've done it, we were the first, you still didn't do it, you're putting money. And so that's why they're getting judged only in bracket with how far they're going to go. It's not so much actually how far they're going to go. They have to win it. And so, as a Frenchman, as we all know, for us, it is great to see that Paris Saint-Germain can be in a situation where they can go to the final. I'm not saying they're going to beat Dortmund. I'm saying to be going to the next round to see if they can finally bring a second Champions League in our history. It's very little when you compare it to what the national team is producing. You can't say you expect to win the Champions League every year because it's so difficult, but they will get more criticism now if they go out to Dortmund, because that's a team they will be expected to beat, really. So I think the criticism for maybe Luis Enrique and the team, or maybe Mbappe, if they went out in the semi-final, would be quite heavy, because they will expect to be in the final now. I hate seeing defenders do this. The reason there's a goalkeeper plays football is he's there to help you when you make a mistake. Let him do his job. Stay out of that. He's still got to beat the goalkeeper. It's ridiculous. Players getting involved, getting themselves sent off. And then it gave them a mountain to climb, really. It was always going to be difficult because there was so long to go in the game.
Was it just instinct, though, Jamie? We've been in that position before.
What happens is...
You think you're going to get there, and then at the last minute, he's just...
But I think what happens is that because he gives the pass away, I think you'd always want to try and make up for your own mistakes. So he's give the pass away, you're thinking, I've got to deal with this. And what you see, it happens a lot in football, not just in these situations where someone makes one mistake, then they make another one right after because they're trying to rectify the first one. Allow them to go through, try and make it difficult, put pressure on them, but you've got one of the best goalkeepers in world football. And I would say that Thierry'd know better than me. Would he score 30-40% of chances in that position? Well, it'd be a toss of a coin, wouldn't it? But a goalkeeper like Ter Stegen.
For Bacola.
No, I get that, but to go further, right now in his position, the way it's been this season, it looked like he might have missed it. But I'm with you. Even if he score, it's 1-1, it's 11 v 11 still. You're still in this.
Yeah. That is what has completely turned the game. Really, it's not sort of the goal that comes later. It's basically being down to 10 men.
Nerves.
That is a massive moment, and that's the one. Obviously the manager gets sent off later on, so it's difficult for him to have a goal to maybe his players, and a lack of control even later on with a penalty get given away because he lost control on the side of the pitch, and that's not great really from your manager. But that was just, you think of the position Barcelona found themselves in. You do all that work in the first leg, you go 1-0 up, and someone has a moment of madness, and the tide just switches like that.
And then
that's the one I don't understand. This is exactly what we're trying to say with Jamie, Kate, and Micah, is that why are you tackling?
It's just...
Why are you losing your head? I do not understand. Moments. Why are you losing your composure?
I think defenders now, and I say this to my son actually, in that I think the way the game is now is that sometimes you can put a tackle in, you can win the ball, and even your follow through can mean you give a penalty away. Now, that was not the case 20 years ago when I was playing. So, for defenders now, when you're making I'd say a challenge, not a tackle, I don't think you should ever make a tackle in the box anymore. You're basically blocking a shot or a cross. It's a block. You don't make a tackle in the box now. That doesn't mean you make it easy for people. You use your body, you're strong, but if someone's going to try and get a shot, you're there, you're aggressive. It's a block. So you can never run the risk of giving a penalty away, because now, even if you come flying in with a challenge, and I did plenty over my career where right now there'd be penalties, but because of that, you've got to adapt as a defender. You can't make tackles in the box. You've got to block.
Thierry, as a coach, would you tell your defenders not to dive in there?
there's one thing that you cannot control is the ability of someone to think at the moment that it happens. However, I can speak, we all know. I think if he looks at this tonight, he will go, why did I tackle? But there is something that happens to you when you see that, I don't know why, I've done it, you've done it, we all done it, but why did I go for that? Which I agree with you, Jamie, but I can understand if Dembele was right in front of the goal and you think that he's going to shoot, you dive in. He is in the corner of the box. He's not, we all know, he's just trying to beat you to the spot.
But if you look at his foot movement, he's actually going away from the goal.
Saying. All you want is that I want to beat you to the spot. Because if I beat you to the spot when you tackle, you're going to meet my leg before you meet the ball. And even if it wasn't called and we go to VAR, VAR would have seen leg before ball. So Jamie is right. You don't even have to tackle on that one. Just stand your ground. Go with him, stand your ground. But you asked me a great question. How can you develop the brain of someone at that particular moment to react to that exact thing? You can recreate that in training. You can recreate the crowd. You can recreate you down to 10 men. You can recreate that you're scared, that they might come back in the game. How do you recreate that? People stay calm or not. For example, I don't think Van Dijk tackles there.
No.
Because he's calm as a human being right from the start. But not everybody sees it like that. So yes, as a coach, you turn, you say before, stay on your ground, make sure you stay 11v11. We all say it before the game, it's important, don't get sent off. They get sent off, they react too quickly. And that has a massive impact on the game. But again, how do you train staying calm in difficult situations? Only when you are in a difficult situation, I know if you're going to stay calm or not. As much as I scream, don't tackle. You will. There's a reaction that happens to you that you panic.